So we was going all crazy about $15 an hour. Okay, we want minimum wage to be raised. We want minimum wage to be doubled. Pero, what if I told you that mathematically, literally, and spiritually, minimum wage should actually be way higher than that? Let me get into the numbers for you. I'm going to show you some charts. I'm going to show you some numbers, and we're going to get to what minimum wage actually would be and should be if it kept up with inflation and productivity. So keep around. So be sure to keep it locked for all that and more. It's Crystal with the Cash Compass. All right, welcome and welcome back. I am here to teach you all the things that you should have learned in school about money, but for whatever reason, I'm going through it. But for whatever reason, they forgot to mention it. If you love all things personal finance, investing, and economics, or if you have a thing for girls who cannot speak apparently, definitely hit the subscribe button, hit the bell too. It's all free. And if it costs money, I got you. Let's get into it. So where to start? Oh yeah, the beginning. So when did minimum wage actually start, right? Like this idea didn't just come out of the blue. I guess it kind of did. Minimum wage actually started at the ripe year of 1938, right after the Depression under the Fair Labor Standards Act, okay? And it actually started at a whopping 25 cents. The act also introduced the concept of overtime, okay? And had some child labor laws in place. So when you're getting that OT, you better thank the fellas at the 1938 meeting, okay? It really started to help kind of pick things back up after the Depression, which I guess whooped a whole bunch of people's behinds. Obviously, I was not there, so I'm only speaking from what I found on the internet. But it was there basically to kind of help those people get a little bit of a kickstart. And since then, as you can see in this chart, it has been steadily growing, except it's actually been the same for the longest time in history. And I'm going to show you basically what you see. These little numbers kind of on the bars are telling you how long in between each period it took for them to actually raise minimum wage again. So as you can see here, we are standing at 12 years. We've been at $7.25. And let me be the first to tell you, okay, my expenses have definitely increased since 2009. So I think it's funny that your expenses are increasing, but the minimum wage is just flatline. It's dead. And like I said, that's the longest time we have ever gone. The last, I guess the runner up was 10 years from 1997 to 2007, and it was at $5.15. These numbers are actually very, very, very sad, okay? I don't like it. I hate it for us, actually. It's unfortunate. That's obviously not a livable wage, right? If you're making just $7.25, you will absolutely need government assistance, whether it's going to be food stamps or Section 8, right? We know this, okay? And this is like a whole different video, honestly, but we can even talk about the fact that maybe that's what people want, right? Maybe a higher dependence on the government gives them more power. So why raise minimum wage and have people be independent when government really thrives off of people being dependent on them, right? It's a thought, okay? I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but tell me what you think. As if it isn't obvious by that chart that I just showed you, if you've been on my channel for any period of time, you've probably seen the debt clock. I show this to a point of nauseum, but you can see here that wages have not really increased, at least the median wage, right? Median wage has not increased by that much in the past couple decades, right? Like $4,000. That's nothing, okay? And that's including pretty much everybody's income, right? The median just gets you to the middle, just in case you don't know, which I'm sure you do because you're intelligent. So what should the minimum wage be if we kind of keep up with productivity and we keep up with the real inflation, not that BS 2% that they tout around? I don't even know where they got that from, right? What should it really be? According to these people and this chart that they made, minimum wage should actually be at a calm $24 an hour, which would actually bring us to just under $50,000, which is well above the median income of about $35,000, right? That would be extremely life-changing for some people, but we absolutely know that's not going to happen. First of all, they're not even giving you 15 off rip, right? Like if they do the 15, it's going to be like, I think $1 a year. There's been different proposals, but basically it's not going to just turn to 15 overnight. that would be a shock to the economy, okay? I don't know what would happen, but it would be something like, inflationary events, right? I mean, we're kind of dealing with inflation now, which I'm going to get into a whole different video about that. So make sure you are subscribed, because I will be talking about a little bit more details about the whole like economic crash and what inflation really is. So keep it locked for that. But anyway, my point is, they would not be able to do that even if they wanted to, which I doubt they do. But even if they wanted to, that wouldn't be something that would happen overnight. And if it did happen overnight, you would see people bawling, okay? People be bawling right now and they be broke. So imagine if they get like a maybe 50% increase in their earnings. I mean, okay, we seen them stimmy checks, okay? Them things evaporated, all right? The savings rate went like this. Once the economy started opening up again, boom, right back down, okay? So we're not naturally savers in America. So people would blow through that money, and that would definitely cause an inflationary event to happen around here. But then that begs the question, why hasn't it kept up with minimum wage? Right? We have lawmakers who have the ability to raise it, right? But they have chose not to, even though they claim that inflation increases at about 2% a year. Even if that number was correct, which it's correct by their standards now, but if you go on shadow stats, you will see how they used to calculate inflation before it became a little ugly for them, right? It wasn't advantageous. There's a lot of things that are tied to inflation, like a lot of retirement benefits, a lot of entitlement benefits too, like food stamps and things like that. They're tied to inflation. So if inflation gets too high, that means more money the government has to push out, and they ain't with that, okay? So they've had the ability to raise minimum wage 2% to be in target with theirs, but why haven't they? Is it intentional? And of course, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Let me know what you think in the comments. But could it be intentional? Do they want to create this kind of wealth gap, right? Because if you're telling me inflation is 2% and you're the one who kind of controls how this minimum wage is kind of set, why not raise it 2% every single year either too? For me, it might be a situation where they are trying to hold you back. But another thought, and this is actually from the article that I read this, and it made a lot of sense. Productivity and inflation is just, they're not really as important anymore, right? We live in a heavily financialized world, and if that has not been obvious before, 2020 should have definitely brought that to light. Things like Bitcoin, things like just the stock market in general, right? Took a huge drop, and then next thing you know, it just kind of grew exponentially. The banking sector, they literally make money off of money. When I talk about financialization, it's literally the concept of making money off of money. Okay, so when I buy stocks and they appreciate and I sell them, I just made money, but I didn't really do anything, right? I could have probably picked the stock in the dark. At this point, at this like kind of where we are right now in the world, you could probably pick a stock out of a hat and put money into it and it will go up. This is not financial advice. Don't come back here mad at me, all right? Because if you want to square up, we can do that. Just kidding. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Anyways, right? But that's just the environment that we're in right now. You can make money off of making money. Is productivity that important when I can take $1 and flip it without even doing much work, right? Or the banking system. They don't have to have any of that money that they loan you in the bank. They can just put credits in your account, give you this money, and then they make interest expense off or interest income off of you. And they haven't had to do nothing but, type a little couple things in. I mean, it could have taken maybe 30 minutes worth of effort, and the growth and the income that they can get from that can be exponential. It's literally crazy what has been happening in this world and how we've kind of moved a little bit further and further away from productivity, right? Especially with AI, with all our technology and basically our jobs getting replaced. There is not really much of a need for humans in certain sectors, in certain fields now, because it's been technologized? I don't know. It's been technologically, you know what I'm trying to say. And obviously, that doesn't apply to everybody. I'm not saying that everybody's job is going to be taken over. But what I am saying is we have been moving in that direction. I think the last time I checked, the financial sector made up like 25% of GDP, which again is crazy considering the fact that you don't have to put in a whole bunch of physical effort and producing things. It's really more like mental exercises versus and speculation, a bit of good luck. versus actually putting out work. You know, so you think about it, why would I be paying you more when a lot of these jobs can actually get replaced? And then I could just go ahead and put my money in the stock market or put my money in Bitcoin and let my money just make money for me. And you might be thinking, okay, what is the point of this? The point I really want to drive home is that we can raise minimum wage all we want to. It's still going to be a problem. I mean, if it's not evidenced by me just kind of explaining everything I explained to you, look at the chart. Minimum wage started in 1938. Okay, it's almost going to be 100 years since we had minimum wage, and we're still crying about more minimum wage, right? So obviously the minimum wage, it might be helping some people, right? Because if employers could pay you 30 cents, they would. Let's look at how people go to China and not abuse, but well, I don't even know. But they outsource their jobs and they go to these foreign countries because they know they can charge them less. In Belize, where I'm from, minimum wage is actually $3 Belize, which is really $1.50 American dollars. What? Employers would definitely try to beat down that thing as much as they can and not pay you. So I'm not saying it is not beneficial at all. But what I'm saying is it's not going to save everybody. Okay? Your lawmakers, these officials, they're not going to save you maybe as quickly as you need saving, if at all. We have to be self-sufficient. And you have to kind of be cognizant and aware of and adaptable to the times, right? So right now, financialization is what's important, okay? Making your money make money off of seemingly nothing. If you have your money in the dollar is a dying asset, and I'm going to be making a video on that as well, so you'll want to make sure you keep it locked on my channel. But that's a dying asset. Stop asking for more of it. Because as they keep on printing more and more money with all this stimulus packages and all this other stuff, like I said, I don't want to crowd this video up. It's getting kind of long. But as long as they keep on printing money, by they, I mean the Federal Reserve, stop asking for US dollars. Yes, we transact in it right now. Yes, it's important right now. But right now, it's really important to get into assets. Real estate. Precious metals, if that's your thing. Cryptocurrencies, if that's your thing, okay? Even the stock market, hell. I mean, people have been seeing much better returns than keeping it in a savings account, okay? This is not financial advice. Let me tell you that once again. But the point is, the US dollar is a dying asset. It has lost over 98% of its value. The Federal Reserve tells you that themselves. I'm going to pop a chart right here so you can see it. I don't have no reason to lie. You see it right here. It's a dying asset. Okay, we're asking for minimum wage. You want more of this money, but what are you going to do with it? Are you going to just keep it in there, buy things that don't really hold value, buy things that are not going to really secure you in the future? If you do, you're doing yourself a great disservice. You know, and I don't want you to think I'm attacking you, because I'm not. I really like you. But the thing is, you have to just understand that they're not going to be here to save us, okay? Look at this housing affordability. Like, I'm almost in shock by seeing how high these house prices have been going. They've been getting out of control. Food has been getting out of control. And it might not even be because of all the extra money floating around. It's also a supply and demand type of thing, right? So toilet paper, there was a huge supply. A huge demand for it. It wasn't like they stopped supplying it, but they just couldn't keep up with the demand. Same thing with the housing market. People are just not selling their houses. Why should they? They don't have to even pay their rent or pay their mortgage, okay? All these things are just like really, it's a very odd thing that we're going through right now. So it's really important to make sure that you have assets. You don't have your eggs in one basket, which would be, to me, means like having all your money in just the US stock market. I think that's why, having all your money in just the US dollar, any currency really, because all these currencies are based off of nothing. So diversification is a buzzword that they always use in the finance community, but I think it is very important to be diversified, because you can see right now, even if you have charts telling you that minimum wage should be $24, they do not give a damn. Right now we are at, less than a third of that, right? So take care of yourself, not only physically, of course, financially. That doesn't mean save up some more of this US dollar and just have it sitting in your account or wherever you're at, right? Your euros, wherever you're at. Really think about having your money in other things that are worth value, right? If I bought a house and then the whole US dollar thing collapses, well, whatever the new currency is, I'm gonna start charging that and renting my house out, right? Precious metals have never gone to zero. They have withstood the test of all currencies, and they may continue to do so. Cryptocurrencies are relatively new, but people are liking them. It's getting more hype. That might be the new wave. I don't have the answers. I wish I did. If I did, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you. But you got to kind of do the research and protect yourself, because it's obvious that they won't. But that will do it. If you like this video, then please be sure to like this video and share it with all your friends. And if you have anything else going on, you know what to do. Go ahead and binge watch me. And until next time, keep your money up.